Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. I have so many exciting Christmas DIYs to share with you today. For this first project, you're going to need to grab some poster board from Dollar Tree. I'm going to start by twisting the poster board up to create a cone shape. When I get to the edge, I'm going to add some hot glue and continue wrapping. Hold that until your glue has a chance to dry. Now I want the bottom to be straight so I can stand this up to create a cone style tree. I'm going to start by cutting off the base and trying to make it as straight as possible. Now I'm going to repeat this step to create a second tree. And I'm going to cut my second tree a little bit higher up because I want it to be a smaller tree. Next, I grabbed these mop heads from Dollar Tree. You're going to need several to complete this project, but I thought it was the perfect faux fur. So I'm going to start at the top by wrapping it around, and I'll hot glue that in place. So I wanted to get as many large pieces on the front as I could before I started adding in additional pieces. So I'm going to hot glue a larger piece to the bottom. Next, I'll continue wrapping the mop heads around the back, and then I'm going to cut smaller sections where I can fill in the gaps. You want to continue until your poster board is completely covered. I'll repeat those steps with the second tree. Here's a look at how these turned out. You can spend so much on similar trees to this, but I love the DIY version. Next up, you're gonna grab 3 candy jars from Dollar Tree. I'm gonna paint the bases of them with 2 coats of Waverly white chalk paint. Once that dries, you can fill each of the containers with a Dollar Tree white candle. Then I'm gonna add in some of the small silver ornaments, as well as the mini pine cones that they have at Dollar Tree. For this next project, you're going to grab one of these baskets from Dollar Tree, and I'm going to cut off the handles. Next, I'm going to use a beanie hat that they have at Dollar Tree. I'm going to wrap it around the bottom of my container, and then I'm just going to lightly tuck it around. If you need to hot glue it in place, you can do that as well. Once I got the beanie on there, I realized that it wasn't sitting flat, so I trimmed off that bottom piece and just hot glued it. Next, I'm going to hot glue a foam piece to the bottom. Next, I'm going to put in a Dollar Tree $1 tree. And once I fluff it out to make it look more full, I'm going to come in with those Dollar Tree sprigs that you can buy and just twist those around. This is going to help my tree look so much more full. I'm going to use a ribbon that I had on hand to create a bow at the top. Sometimes with these trees, I like to give them a flocked appearance. I always pick up my flock spray from Walmart, but I'm sure you can buy it at other locations. When I was shopping at Dollar Tree, I came across these cute little trees, and I'm just gonna wrap them with some twine. Next, I grabbed the colorful pack of beads that they sell at Dollar Tree, and I'm gonna put them all in a container outside because I wanted to spray paint them the color red. I'm gonna spray them, shake it up, and spray them some more. Now, since then, I think a better option for spraying these would probably be to put them on dowel rods, but you could do this as well. So I'm going to do a pattern combination with the spray painted beads as well as these wood beads. I'll link them for you down in the description box, and then I'll add in my trees. This is just gonna create a fun garland. On the ends, I'm going to create some twine tassels. Now you could hang this on your tree, you could also put it on your mantle, or just sitting out on a shelf would be really nice. Hey everyone, I can't wait to tell you about today's sponsor, Policy Genius, and why I think you should use them to set up your life insurance policy. If you've been considering getting life insurance, but maybe you've been putting it off, Policy Genius is a great option because they compare over a dozen top insurers. Now, why would you want to compare policies? You can save 50% or more by comparing your life insurance policies with a service like Policy Genius. Now, getting started is easy. You can use my link, policygenius.com/Liz Fenwick. And the cool thing is the licensed experts at Policy Genius are gonna work for you, not the insurance companies. So you can trust that they're gonna help you with navigating that shopping and buying process. They have 5-star reviews across Trustpilot and Google. Go check it out, you will see. And the best part is eligible applicants can be covered in as little as a week thanks to an award-winning policy option to swap the standard medical exam requirements for a simple phone call. I know getting life insurance can seem like a task, but Policy Genius makes it as simple as possible. So go check out my link, policygenius.com/Liz Fenwick. In minutes, you can work out how much life insurance coverage you need and compare your personalized quotes to find the best price. When you're ready, the Policy Genius team is going to handle all the paperwork and scheduling for free, and they don't include any extra fees. I'll have everything linked for you guys down in the description box. For this next project, you're gonna need a pizza pan, the oven covers, and 3 candlesticks. I really like creating trays to display items around Christmas, so I'm going to hot glue one of the candle holders to the pizza pan. Then I'll put on the largest side of the oven covers, add another candlestick, and then I'll put the top piece on. I spray painted this with 2 coats of a white matte spray paint. I'm gonna add some black paint to the edges. Next, I'm going to show you guys how I decorate this using Christmas items I already had on hand, as well as some Dollar Tree trees and ornaments. Whenever you're doing a tray like this, one of my tips is to stick with a color palette. So here I'm just doing greens and reds. I think that helps to make more of a cohesive look. I'm going to be using this buffalo check fabric from Dollar Tree. And then make sure you come in with those finishing touches. The little snowflakes and the bells and the pine cones really help to finish it off. Next, we're going to be creating an ornament. So I'm just going to print off a Merry Christmas sign. Then I'm going to come in with the tumble tower blocks and glue those together to create a border.
Yeah, let's go outside. We can hang out.
Now I wanted to give this a stained appearance, so I'm going to be using some brown acrylic paint. I'm going to brush it on with my foam brush, and then I'll just wipe off any excess paint. I added some holly berries to this sign. And then I'll just hot glue the sign to my border. I just grabbed some ribbon I had on hand to create a hanger. So here's another fun ornament idea that I love to do with my kids. So you're gonna need a clear plastic ornament from Dollar Tree. You're also going to need some Mop and Glow. The Mop and Glow is the perfect thing to help all of the glitter you're gonna be using stick to the sides of your ornament. So put in a little bit of Mop and Glow, then you're gonna completely cover the inside of your ornament. From here, this is the fun part. You can add in any color glitter that you want. Move the glitter around until your ornament's completely covered. You could have so much fun with this, just mixing and matching glitters, and then add any ribbon or twine that you have on hand to create a hanger.
We're chilling and having a good time. Doesn't matter if the snow is falling or the wind blows in the rain.
Next, I found this container at Dollar Tree, and I'm going to be using it as a base. I'm going to be painting it with 2 coats of Elephant by Waverly. I'm going to be using one of my favorite products, which is Quikrete. You can buy this at Lowe's or Home Depot, and it's a great concrete that's just really crafter friendly. So I'm going to put some in a tray, mix it with water. I want it to be around like a putty consistency. So if it's not the consistency you want, you can always add, more concrete or more water. You can see here, I just added in some more concrete. Next, I'll add the Quikrete to my container. I'm gonna place my tree in. I had to put some popsicles in just to hold it up while it was drying. Then I came back in, removed my popsicles, and you can see it doesn't look so great around the edges, so I came back in with some of my paint just to clean it up. I added some white paint around the edges to give it a little bit of dimension. Next, I have to add some additional garland pieces around this tree to make it look a little bit more full. And I'll tie some Dollar Tree ribbon around the top. I'm also going to add the snowblower on top to give it a flocked appearance. So here's another garland idea you can do. Grab those colorful beads from Dollar Tree, spray paint them with a red color. Next, I'm gonna grab some twine, and I like to put Scotch tape around the end of it. That just helps me to feed the beads on there. I'm gonna be using those same beads that I had earlier and mix and match those with my red beads. Next, I'm gonna create a tassel that has a lace piece as well as a red ribbon and some twine. I'll wrap that around the edge of my beads and tie that off. I'm gonna trim the base so it's all the same length. And you can put this styled over a simple present, and I think it looks great. So I have this centerpiece box that I get a lot of comments on. You guys love this and love it when I style this. It's simply just 3 long boards and 2 boards on the side that I've just used L brackets to hold in place, and I stained it as well. To style it, I'm just going to put in some of that fake snow filler. I'm gonna get 5 of the $1 trees and wrap them so that they're a lot more fuller. I'm gonna add the snowblower to the top so they have that flocked appearance. And then I'm gonna place them into this centerpiece. I added in some additional snow so that I covered up the legs of the trees. Next, I'm gonna create a sign that I can put on the front of it. So I grabbed some twine. I'm also going to be using some pages out of a book, and I just cut those in half. I'm gonna spell out the word Christmas with some Dollar Tree letters. I should have measured this beforehand because I added all of the notebook pages on here and it looked so nice, but then when I went to actually put it up there, it didn't fit. So you can see here, I actually had to tape them and make the notebook pages closer together so it would fit on my trees. So next time I'm gonna measure first. So I'm just gonna wrap this sign around my trees. This is something that you could totally personalize. You could keep the sign off or you could add in your own colors, but I really think this is a great way to take Dollar Tree items and really elevate them and make them look like a substantial centerpiece. I did decide that I wanted to add a little bit of fabric to the top of these trees. For this next project, you're gonna need 2 mason jars. I went with a larger one and a smaller one, but really just use what you have on hand. I'm gonna wrap some twine around the top edges. I found a little greenery piece that I had on an ornament, and I'm just going to tie that with the twine and then wrap that around the top. Next, I'm gonna add some Mod Podge to the top portion of my jar, as well as that greenery piece and the twine. I'm gonna use some iodized salt on the top of the Mod Podge. This is gonna give like a fun snow effect. Then I'll just fill the inside with some more salt. You can put in some Dollar Tree candles. This looks so festive. If you guys are enjoying this video, make sure you give me a thumbs up. It just lets me know that you enjoy seeing these videos, so I'll be sure to do more in the future. Now, I'm always trying to come up with ways that I can use those Dollar Tree miniature trees. They're so cute. I had this fishbowl that I thrifted, and I'm gonna be using some Epsom salt. This is a great item to use to mimic the look of snow. And I'm going to take some of those green trees that I have and place them in this bowl. Now you could have several of these sitting out on your dining room table and it would be really inexpensive, or you could just do one on a shelf or a table. I think it looks really high end. And when you're done putting all the trees in, add a little bit more Epsom salt on the top and it's gonna mimic the look of snow. This tray is actually an easy tray to find. I'm painting it with kind of a khaki beige color. Next, I'll bring out that detail around the edges with some Waverly white chalk paint. Next, I'm going to use some beads that I had on hand and wrap them around some wire. I'm going to hot glue and tape that to the underside of this tray, and I'll repeat that on the other side. Because you use the wire, you can really move these around. This tray would be great as a centerpiece. You could add candles to it or really anything that fits with your decor. My kids love doing a Christmas countdown, so I'm going to show you how to make a Christmas countdown sign. So you're going to need a Dollar Tree sign, really any of them will work. You're also going to need a plaque, and then I grabbed some magnetic clips. I'm going to start with wood filler, just filling in the holes that were from where they had the string before. I'm going to paint the whole piece with silver lining. Next, I'm going to paint the plaque white. I'm going to add some Dollar Tree numbers, cut those out so that my kids can use those to represent how many days we have until Christmas. On my Cricut, I'm just going to cut out days until Christmas and add that to the white plaque. And I'm going to add black to the edges. I'm also going to add black to the edges of my sign. I'm going to kind of lay everything out on this tray to see, like where the best thing to put everything is. I also want to add a ribbon. I'm going to add that down at the bottom. Next, I'm just going to come in and hot glue all the components down. And I'm just going to keep the numbers sitting out next to my sign. You could put command strips on your wall and add this to your wall, or you could have it sitting out for your kids to use. Let me show you how I like to display some of the Dollar Tree florals. So I would pick maybe about 5 stems, and this glass container you could easily find at Dollar Tree, well, most of the time. I'm also going to grab some of their miniature ornaments. Because they're so small, they just really help to kind of fill in with larger items. So I'm gonna mix and match, putting in some red first, then silver, then I'll put in all of my stems. From there, I'm going to kind of push the ornaments down to the side so that you can't see my stems anymore. This is an easy way to display your Dollar Tree Christmas florals. If you guys haven't already subscribed to my channel, consider doing so. I post new videos on Mondays and Thursdays, and you'll just get notified anytime a new video comes out. So I had this print in my stash. It was actually from the Target dollar spot, and I thought it was the perfect size to make a little sign. So I printed out this printable that says, "Have yourself a merry little Christmas," and I'm just going to trace around the edge so that I can glue it into my sign. I'll cut the sign out. I'm also going to add another piece of white cardstock so that the sign doesn't show through. And here's a look at how the sign turned out. For this next DIY, you're going to need one of the wire containers from Dollar Tree as well as this headband. I'm going to wrap the headband around the base of the container and hot glue it. Next, I'm going to take some ribbon and lace it through the container. And I decided that I wanted to kind of hot glue and pinch the ribbon down. Then I'm gonna put in a piece of foam at the bottom. I'm gonna add in one of the Dollar Tree trees. You guys, these are probably the best item at Dollar Tree. I know I have a lot of trees in this video, but you can really put these all over your home. They look great and they're probably one of the best buys. Next, I'm gonna add in those filler pieces. I added some Dollar Tree sacks at the bottom and filled it in with some filler. I'm gonna wrap garland around the tree and add in a tree topper. For this next project, we're gonna create a garland with these snowflakes.
But the fire keeps us.
I painted the snowflakes a white color. You're also going to need various ribbon and burlap.
And I've gotten you.
I'm gonna add the snowflake on, and then I'm just gonna loosely tie on some of my ribbon and burlap. I'll repeat that until I get all of my pieces on. You can hang this on your tree. It also looks great on a mantle.
Is on its way, but as long as you're around, everything will be okay.
All right, I think this is probably one of my favorite DIY projects, but I grabbed some of these presents from Dollar Tree, and I'm gonna take 2 of the presents and put them on top of each other. Dollar Tree has this car cleaner that looks kind of like a faux fur, and I thought it would be perfect to cover these boxes. So I'm just going to hot glue it in place. Next, I'm going to do my best to tuck the edges and hot glue that down. And then any remaining fabric I will trim off because I don't want it to be really bulky down at the bottom. Then I'm gonna wrap the present with burlap, hot gluing that to the bottom, and I'll do that going the other direction. To add a little bit more dimension, I'm gonna add some jute twine as well, a few snowflakes, and then I'll top it off with some Dollar Tree greenery. I'll repeat this step to create a second present as well.
Ever been, it's safe to say that my love for you is true. Tomorrow.
For this next project, you're gonna need 3 of the Dollar Tree ornament signs. I'm gonna trace out some Dollar Tree wrapping paper, place that down on my ornaments.
To have you for myself in a cabin out in nowhere.
I'm gonna remove that top silver piece and put the wrapping paper onto my ornaments. I'm gonna hot glue that metal piece back on. Next, I'm gonna be using these stencils that I picked up, I believe at Joann's, and I'm just going to put them down and spell out the word joy. I'll do this with some Waverly white chalk paint. And I'll add a little bit of greenery at the top just to make them look a little more festive. And here's a look at how this joy sign turned out on my fireplace.
Tomorrow it is Christmas, the first for you and me.
Let me know in the comments what your favorite project was, and I'll talk to you guys in our next one. Bye.